Internets, hello you lovelies. Let's talk all about Stranger Things Season 5, Episode 4, the finale of Block 1 of this final season of Stranger Things. This episode revealed so much about the entirety of the show. We've reached the big finale of the show and we're bookending lots of things all the way back to Season 1. This show had some of the best action of the entire series in my opinion, and it had a lot of twists and turns when it comes to Max. So this episode was feature length and it was very full, but it didn't feel overstuffed. Going to be diving into this with full spoilers, so please have seen the episode first, or at least, want to know what's going on, but please know that there's spoilers coming in this episode. If you're new to this page, I cover movies, I cover TV, and I cover comic books. I love nerdy stuff. I love the genre content space, so if you're into any of that or pop culture in general, hit that subscription bell. Also, please like this video. It helps the algorithm know that I like Stranger Things, that you like me liking Stranger Things, so it helps everything. Hit that like, and most of all, I would love to know what you think of this finale of part 1 of the series. I'd love to know what you thought of my thoughts on it. I'd love to know some of the theories you have. Now we're all caught up. There can't be spoilers because unless you've seen the Christmas episodes, which I doubt, we're all on the same page. So please let me know what you think in the comments below. Let's talk some Stranger Things here at 2 o'clock in the morning. All right, so Stranger Things episode 4 is kind of shifting our lead. We had a lot of bait and switches in this episode. 11 has been largely our lead most of the series, and we in fact got 8 back in this episode from that one episode that no one likes of Stranger Things. I think it was season 2, that very mall-esque episode. I love that even the stuff that weren't like the hits, they're tying all this lore together. They had a plan for those characters, and that is going to come into this. There's going to be a lot of, psionic abilities and crazy mind stuff in this season and series finale. So I don't know what's going to go on with 8, but we did get 8 in this. But also this 11 shift is interesting because she's largely been our lead. And now it looks like Will is effectively the most powerful of the characters in the Hawkins universe. And that is not obvious, but it's kind of obvious. Like it's the boy who lived. I said in episode 1 of season 5 that I thought that's the direction they were going. That seems to be the thing they've been teasing. They let him have some great moments with some levels of success in this episode for me, about coming to the truth of who he is and what he likes and what he wants. And it seems pretty obvious that Will's always been gay and that him accepting himself is going to be something that helps him find his power. Beautiful messaging. I just wish I liked the performance a little more and or the character a little more. I'm a little personally just not sure about the Will character being the lead of the last season, but I am very, very curious because I love this show to find out, to be proven wrong. Maybe Noah Schnapp's a better actor than I think, and maybe we'll get a bit more of a fullness to that seemingly obvious transition. And I hope that it is able to be more layered than just another boy who lived story and just another, connected to your villain story. But I don't know, and I'm very curious to find out. It is a big reveal to give us this cliffhanger to go into Christmas. It does feel like instead of getting a death, we got a rebirth, and it wasn't Max, which is what I expected us to get with episode 4. So that in itself is a little different than what I was expecting. We did get lots of Max, though. We found out the way she survived was basically she should have died, and now she's trapped in this mind space, in this series of memories. And we played around with memories going all the way back to the room where 11 was kind of created, the rainbow room, and we saw the moment of Henry in 1959, and we had some great teen versions of characters that have been our leads in this show, and we went all the way back, and she's been trapped in these memories and kind of living in that space. And I'm really curious what the cave is that makes him so scared. What is it about the cave that Henry fears? What is the power of that space? Very curious about that. And his greater tie-in. Is it going to be, Black Phone-esque, where he knew all these kids and was tormented, and he's like, the Derek kid, and that turns him into this monster? Is he someone that, something happened in those rocky areas where it caused his trauma? Like, I'm really curious what's going to be happening with Henry turning into Vecna. I will say the visual effects, the stunningness of the Demogorgons is maybe the best they've ever looked in this episode. The action was spectacular. The Duffer Brothers directed the hell out of this one. Loved that Oner. Well, it was shot to be a Oner. There were some really cleverly hidden cuts here and there, but overall that Oner was sensational. It was a feat, and Finn Wolfhard leading it, and all that action and choreo and pyrotechnics and lots of stunt people, all mixed with visual effects and special effects. Very impressive. Really enjoyed that whole sequence. And then Vecna himself looked sensational in that final act of this episode. So, like I said, this episode was feature length. It was full but not overstuffed. We got a lot of catch up with Max. She's still not back. What she's going to ask of Holly, I'm intrigued by for this next block of episodes. We're getting 3 or 4 on Christmas. So we'll probably be going to Max coming into our world. We'll be dealing with Will discovering this power set and how much power he has in wielding it. We've got Hopper in an interesting spot where Hopper has almost died so many times. I think it's smart that they're tripling down on the baiting us to thinking he's going to be the one we lose. And I think because of that, he might make it. Hopper has disappeared. Hopper has been, almost a kamikaze pilot in many situations. Like, Hopper's the guy that is always the sacrifice. So in doing 2 different episodes where they've done that very like Joss Whedon build up and then kill off the character, a lot of incredible genre content writers. A lot of writers of all mediums use that, but it does feel like sci-fi, fantasy, all this this space is that, and they definitely built him up in 2 different episodes out of the 4 to be the sacrifice. So I now think he'll make it because they did that again, and they even reference it visually. Some cool Linda Hamilton fighting in this episode. The great Sarah Connor fighting Hellboy, pretty exciting. Also Red Guardian, also Hopper. But yeah, also the newsrooms, David Harbour. But yeah, I'm a little worried about the main through line because just my hierarchy of characters, Will's not high on it. But really intrigued by what happens with all the characters in the Upside Down. We've got like our core 4 from the car all in the Upside Down with Eleven and Hopper. I am very intrigued by when the proposal goes down with Big Brother Byers, and if the romance is settled before the bromance comes back with our great Dustin and Steve Harrington. So a lot of storylines at foot. We did see Joyce get tossed. I assume she's okay, but a moment there. Yeah, Lucas got hurt. Joyce got hurt. There was a lot of violence. No one died. Still, no one has really died this season that we're invested in. Even the Wheeler family are alive. They're in a medically induced coma and mending respectively. But I'm curious someone has to die in Christmas, right? Like, I feel like that's an inevitability. But they keep teasing, so maybe not. Our big cliffhanger ended up being a resurrection. As I said, I thought it'd be Max, and I do like the bait and switch there with Will being earlier in the season. I thought this was going to be Will being revealed a little later in the season because the boy who lived of it all. I thought that was going to be around Christmas. So now we will see what he does with the rest of the show. We will see how that all comes to pass. We will see the origins of Vecna, I'm sure, with that mountainous area and lots more in this next block. Would love to know what you thought of the Max rationale. Would love to know what you thought of the Will reveal. Would love to know what you think happens as far as who survives this next block. Who do you think doesn't make it out of Christmas? Who do you think, in these different matches and sets is the most well off? Very curious all around. It would be very ironic if the origins of Vecna do mirror Black Phone, with Maya Hawke being Ethan Hawke's daughter. And then the boy who lived, that whole... Yeah, there's a lot of things this could mirror and pull from, especially because it is something that's a love letter to 80s and 90s. So it'd be interesting if it pulled from, these 2000s and 2020s modern myths. But anyway, I digress. Would love to know your thoughts in the comments below. I am so tired, so I apologize if this was less coherent than normal. This release model was not conducive to your boy's schedule. So this was me a little reckless and haphazard. So I apologize if I mumbly-jumblied. But let me know in the comments below what you thought. Leave a like in this video and subscribe so you know that I'm usually more coherent, not at 2 a.m. Appreciate y'all. I'm posting this in the morning, so it actually gets views. But I'm filming this at 2 a.m. so I didn't get spoiled. So here we are. Hope you got some sleep. I appreciate you.